Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing fantastic. We're continuing Sahih Muslim Hadith. Let's continue, okay? We are on page 59. Let's learn. Let's dig in. Number 40. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It was narrated from Muhammad bin Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan that his father said, "We have not seen any fault in the righteous worse than their telling lies and narrating hadith." Ibn Abi Atab said, "I met Muhammad bin Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan, and I asked him about him. He said, narrating from his father, 'You will not see in good people anything worse than in telling lies about hadith.'" Muslim said, "This means lies flow from their tongues, but they do not lie deliberately." It was narrated that Khalifa bin Musa said, "I entered upon Ghalib bin Ubaydullah, and he started to dictate to me. Makul narrated to me. Then he needed to urinate, so he got up, and I looked at his notebook, and in it was written, 'Aban narrated to me from Anas. Aban narrated so and so.' So I got up and left." He, Muslim, said, "I heard Al-Hasan bin Ali al-Hulwani say, I saw in the book of Afan a hadith of Hisham Abu al-Miktam, a hadith of Umar bin Abdul Aziz." Hisham said, "A man called Yahya bin so-and-so narrated to me from Muhammad bin Ka'b." I said to Afan, "They say that Hisham heard it from Muhammad bin Ka'b." He said, "His problem started with this hadith. He used to say, 'Yahya narrated to me from Muhammad.' Then after that, he claimed that he heard it from Muhammad." Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Khuzad narrated to me, "I heard Abdullah bin Uthman bin Jabala saying, I said to Abdullah bin al-Mubarak, 'Who is the man from whom you narrated the hadith of Abdullah bin Amr? The day of Al-Fitr is the day of rewards.' He said, 'Sulaiman bin al-Hajjaj, look into what you get from him.'" Ibn Khuzad said, "I heard Wahab bin Zama mentioning from Sufyan bin Abdul Malik, who said, Abdullah, meaning Ibn al-Mubarak, said, I saw Rah bin Qutayf, the narrator of the hadith, about blood the size of a dirham. And I sat with him for a while, but I began to feel embarrassed of my companions if they were to see me with him, because they disliked his narrations." Okay, so that's interesting. He's getting embarrassed. He's like, "Hey, I don't really trust this guy. Probably doesn't have that great, not as reliable." He's cautious. It was narrated that Abdullah bin al-Mubarak said, "Baqiya is truthful in speech, but he accepts reports from anyone." Oh no! Oh, look at that. That's a good example, because like he himself is truthful, but he lends his ear too easily to those who can't be trusted. It was narrated that Ash-Shabi said, "Al-Harith al-Awar al-Hamdani narrated to me, but he was a liar." That's a very succinct hadith. You see that? It was narrated that Mughira said, "I heard Ash-Shabi say, Al-Harith al-Awar narrated to me, but he bears witness that Al-Harith al-Awar is one of the liars." Okay, so Al-Harith al-Awar. Okay, woo. It's there. They got him on point. It was narrated that Ibrahim said, Al-Kama said, "I read the Quran in 2 years." Al-Harith said, "The Quran is easy, but the Wahi revelation is more difficult." That's interesting. The Quran is easy, but the Wahi revelation is more difficult. Maybe because you have to ponder upon it more. Layered meaning. It's not just surface level. Maybe, could be. It was narrated from Ibrahim that Al-Harith said, "I learned the Quran in 3 years and the Wahi in 2. Or he said, the Wahi in 3 years and the Quran in 2. It was narrated from Ibrahim that Al-Harith was accused of fabrication. It was narrated that Hamza al-Zayyat said, Murrah al-Hamdani heard something from Al-Harith, and he said to him, sit by the door. Murrah went in and picked up his sword, but Al-Harith sensed that he was up to no good, so he went away. Oh, that's a cool one. Oh, sit by the door. Oh, that's cool. It's like a little bit of like, oh, you're gonna get the sword. They don't trust your narrations. It was narrated that Ibn Awn said, Ibrahim said to us, beware of Al-Mughira bin Sa'id and Abu Abdurrahim, for they are liars. That name though is really cool, Al-Mughira. Such a cool name. It was narrated that Asim said, we used to go to Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulaimi when we were young boys, and he used to say to us, do not sit with the storytellers, except for Abu al-Ahwas, and beware of Shakik. And he said, this Shakik held some carried views, but he was not Abu Wa'il. Abu Ghassan, Muhammad bin Amr al-Razi narrated to us, he said, I heard Jarir say, I met Jabir bin Yazid al-Jufi, but I did not write down anything from him, as he believed in Ar-Raja. Okay, and it says Ar-Raja, let's footnote over here. The return to this life after death, reincarnation, and before the day of judgment. It is either regarding Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, or the Shi claim that the Mahdi is alive and shall return. Oh, okay. Interesting. Ar-Raja, so reincarnation, or a person called Mahdi coming back. It was narrated that Misar said, Jabir bin Yazid narrated to us before he innovated as he did. Okay, so Jabir bin Yazid. Okay, so they name a lot of people here. Al-Mughira bin Sa'id and Abdur Rahim. Wow. Al-Harith also accused. Okay, we keep those things noted down. Very interesting. It was narrated that Sufyan said, the people used to narrate from Jabir before showing what he showed. And when he showed what he showed, the people suspected his hadith. And some people abandoned him. It was said to him, what did he show? He said, belief in Ar-Raja, return to this life after death and before the day of judgment. Okay, so Jabir is accused of that. And Sufyan lets them know, hey, this guy believes in that. That's so strange. Why would somebody believe in that? It was narrated that Abu Yahya al-Himani said, Kabisa and his brother narrated us that they heard Al-Jara bin Malik say, I heard Jabir bin Yazid say, I have 70,000 ahadith, and from Abu Jafar, from the Prophet, peace be upon him. 70,000, that's way a lot.